Welcome to the Bubba Army YouTube channel. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the John Gruden scenario.
I know.
And I got my own perspective on it, and that is I'm disgusted at society. Now, what John Gruden said obviously isn't cool, but now we're judged for everything we've written and everything we've spoke about from 10 years. I mean,
our body of work is judged. Our body of work.
And not everybody's body of work is judged.
No. God, no.
I mean,
for God forbid you judge some of the other people. I mean,
let's look at Al Sharpton.
Right.
Let's look at some other people.
No, they don't get judged.
No, but they don't. And so I really have a hard time with this cancel society where everything's in play. I just cannot. And then the other problem I have, Dan, and I need your help, is where's the Warren Sapps? Where's the Derek Brooks? Where's the Rondé Barbers? Where are these very, 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 very influential African-American former athletes that played for this guy, that knows that this guy's deep down a great guy, that knows this guy's not racist, that knows this guy's, has probably helped almost every one of those make it into I don't know that Rondé's in the Hall of Fame, but certainly Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. If Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp would come out and have supported him, I don't know if that would have made his cause any better.
Do you really?
But why wouldn't they?
Do you really think that Sapp would stick his neck out for anybody?
No.
He's the most selfish, self-centered person I've ever met.
Well, you know that. I know that. I know that more than you.
We know that. But you know what? I do think that a Derek Brooks or a Rondé Barber should have stepped up and come to his assistance. But in today's society, as soon as they give you that label, you just become a pariah, and people just run from you.
Well, and he's got Carl Nassib too, who hasn't said anything either. I think that was.
Can you enunciate a little bit better? You're really slurring today. Are you on opioids?
No, the Carl Nassib guy on the Raiders. He didn't even.
Carl Nassib guy.
Yeah, he's the openly gay football player
that's on the Raiders.
And so one of Gruden's comments were construed as homophobic.
Well,
though he used a slang, not saying that he was
Said Roger Goodell is an anti-gay slur and a quote clueless anti-football p word.
Yeah, but I agree with him. I agree that Goodell is a pussy. He is. I think that.
I do too.
But that's probably the one that got him in trouble the most.
No.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have leaked it. They wouldn't have leaked it.
No. What got him in trouble the most was he described an African American's lips as something bad, and then he also called the guy that was from the University of Missouri that came out the Q word.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two that got him.
But it never would have seen the light of day if he hadn't gone after Goodell.
The defensive lineman?
Yes.
Okay.
Who played zero, right? Did he play zero?
Yeah, he didn't play.
So the only reason that anyone ever knew his name is because he's gay. Not because he was a great football player, but because he was gay.
You're right.
And so that's one of the things that frustrated Gruden, and I'm sure a lot of other sports fanatics, is that we're taking people that have no athletic or not the greatest athletic ability and putting them up in the forefront because they have this unique characteristic to them.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. We're talking about the world of football.
Right.
We're not talking about the world of, Beanie Baby trading. We're not talking about the world of Star Wars. We're talking about a very violent sport where very manly men, a lot of testosterone. I'm just saying that culture is a different culture than what society it is. It's a tougher, crass, society, and they are trying to snowflake and pussify the NFL, where men can't even talk like men. And truly, men can't talk like men anymore. And I'm not going to give you any examples, but you just can't openly be a kind of a jive talking cool ass brother and talk the way guys talk. You can't guy talk anymore.
No.
And these were private emails. That's my main issue with it.
Well,
this wasn't for the public to
Blitz
see.
It's because they were under the Washington Redskins were under investigation, which is why they came out.
Blitz and I talked. One time when we were coming home last year from, I think it might have been the Christmas party at JVC. And we were talking like guys. We were
a little over the top.
We were going over the top for effect.
Of course.
But we were still two dudes that are talking amongst each other.
Yeah.
And if anybody would have heard that recording, I might be in prison.
Is that how guys talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, prison talk, yep.
Yeah.
You confess to killing people.
No, but I mean, you're like, whatever. In today's cancel culture, it's just really the only two, maybe three people that aren't afraid of the cancel culture in this order is David Chappelle, Joe Rogan, with a small little tinge of Tucker Carlson. And Tucker's a little afraid of it.
And I think Joe is too, a little bit.
And Joe is a little bit. The only guy who tells cancel culture to get up on them nuts is David Chappelle. He does not care.
Only because,
but he is highly insulated,
right,
being an African American.
Correct.
Guy.
That's what I was going to bring
There's
up.
not a white guy.
No.
There's not a
Bill
white
Burr?
human being.
Bill Burr?
Not even Bill. Not Bill.
No, I mean, Bill said some stuff on his podcast, but nothing like that.
Yeah, Bill is the closest to saying, but he's still eons away from what Chappelle's saying.
Right.
Would you not agree?
Absolutely.
So, like there's an average, there's not a white stand-up comedian that can say the things that David Chappelle says, which isn't in the world of stand-up in the world of stand-up comedy, you should be able to say anything.
Yeah.
The forum in itself is for you to be able to be as offensive, and everything is in bounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it used to be with Richard Pryor and Red Fox.
Oh, not even that long ago.
George Carlin.
Louis C.K. has said the N-word on stage, and it was one of the greatest bits ever. The whole he's like, I'm not going to get into it, but it was a great bit, and he was able to say the actual N-word on stage, and no one had a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this was in 2006 or 7, maybe.
Right. Well, 10 years have changed a lot. 12, 15.
Yeah.
And you can't. And so John Gruden. Now, does he lose all that money?
I think half of his money was guaranteed. I still think he has a piece of the team.
He got the half of it, and so he's lost out on $60 million.
But now, does he still have a piece of the team?
I just read an article this morning that he has to give it up also.
On Monday, which broke during Monday Night Football, John Gruden resigned after the New York Times reported he frequently used misogynistic and anti.
I'll tell you this, man. John Gruden loves Tampa, Florida. Even when he was on Monday Night Football, when he wasn't in the league, he resided after when he was doing Monday Night Football and wasn't the coach of the Bucs, he continued to live in the offseason here in Tampa.
He loves it here.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get the hell out of Oakland and get back to Tampa.
They're in Vegas now.
Oh, Vegas.
I'm sorry.
Still kind of close.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get his ass right back to Tampa, Florida.
Yep, I think he'll be here shortly.
When did the emails come out? Like last night or something?
No, like months ago.
Here we go. Hold on.
Before he was hired as coach of the Raiders in 2018.
So this happened before he. So if you're the Raiders, I'm just trying to give the Raiders a little bit of insulation. If you're the Raiders, can't you say, listen, we're going to put Joe through a 12-step program. Blah blah blah. He's very sorry. We're going to make a contribution to the NAACP. We're gonna have diversification. We're gonna just do a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then but this was all before he was our coach. So this wasn't done on the Raiders tab, so to speak.
Right.
Why couldn't you say that? You couldn't you? You say this was never as when he was.
So this weekend on all the pregame shows I was watching, they talked about this extensively. This was the big headline this weekend, and almost all of them said the NFL isn't going to do anything to him because it's not when he was working with the
According
NFL.
to the Times, Gruden sent the emails to Bruce Allen, then the president of the Washington football team, and others during a 7-year period that began in 2011.
Well, back then it wasn't called the Washington football team either.
So when were these emails written?
2007.
11, 12.
Yeah, I thought it was like 11.
I'm sorry,
That's
11.
when they were written?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
They were written.
Exactly.
They were
I didn't
written.
realize it was
They
that
were.
long
They were.
ago.
Hold on. They were written 10 years ago when he was not the coach of the Raiders.
He wasn't even. He was
isn't that
It's when he was working for TV. He wasn't even working for the NFL.
He was
at
a
all.
Monday Night Football announcer.
But I tell you what, and I talked to Lummy about this. Had this happened with him still doing Monday Night Football, he'd have gotten his ass kicked out that day.
Oh, there's
NFL
no
sent
question.
the Raiders additional Gruden emails
Can you pull
to
the
review.
Kevin Hart and say, listen, I've evolved a lot and I'm not the same person I was?
That's kind of what he
If you're
said too.
African-American.
If you're African American, you can.
Yeah.
Not if
No,
you're a white
seriously.
guy.
If you're a white
You're
guy,
right.
no, you can't.
There's no second
Did he even
chance.
try? What was his? What did he say when he was
He
when
said he
it was
doesn't
first
have-
revealed?
He doesn't have any of that feelings in his body.
Hold on. Here, what did I tell you? I don't know. I like to hear. I like to hear.
That was
Like,
his response.
what's that guy imitates Frank Caliendo? I like to hear Frank Caliendo.
Oh, he's great.
Spin on this.
Well, if these emails came out months ago, like what was the big thing that because like literally it was a talk of the town this weekend. It was everywhere.
Well, that's because they got released because the the football team's investigation was done months ago, and then all of a sudden these emails that people knew about months ago all of a sudden got leaked to the media.
Oh, okay.
All right, hold on.
The first, which
Whoopsie, we
Gruden
leaked
had
him.
Yeah.
been asked about, which included the racial trope about NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith that surfaced last week.
All right, so he wrote something bad about the NFL players about a guy that works for the NFL named DeMaurice Smith, and he makes fun of the guy's lips.
Gruden was employed by ESPN as the lead analyst for Monday Night Football at the time that he sent these emails, which are now under review.
You can't make fun of a guy's lips now.
Nope.
Not if he's
You don't
black.
think people make fun of my lips?
Yeah, I've been teased about my lips my whole life. I got that as a kid because I had I was big lipped as a kid, and I got called
They call you
end
Steven
lips,
Tyler?
liver lips. So
Steven Tyler,
I was
coffee coolers, de-essers.
Keep them coming, Bubba.
The comments are clearly
You got some de-essers, DSLs.
There you go.
You got some DSLs.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck getting that plane
repugnant
next
under
week.
any circumstance, ESPN said in a statement. Gruden released the following statement.
Wow, this is
Quote, I resigned as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone.
And that, by the way, that's not what John Gruden would say as a man.
No.
But that's what John Gruden's attorneys have come up with so that he can make his $50 million.
But who do
He
you
had,
really...
he had a 10-year, $100 million deal.
So do you think
he's going to get 50 of it?
So he apologized to the team over the weekend or whatever and had closed door stuff. I mean, it sounded to me like then the other day he wasn't going to resign. They weren't going to fire him. Like, wonder what brought this about.
It's all the new emails that came out yesterday.
Oh, new ones.
Okay.
All those new ones that came out, him calling Joe Biden like weak and then the other stuff.
Biden.
The
Joe
F word
Biden.
and-
Yeah, he went after
cares?
Biden and Goodell, and that got him. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's why they leaked it.
Because he went over after two white guys.
Yep.
If he would have said, "Man, that Trump's a real horse's ass," I don't like him.
Yeah, he'd be a hero.
He'd be like, exactly.
Yeah.
Coach of the year.
Because he called Joe Biden a nervous, clueless P-word.
Hold on, nervous, clueless pussy.
Yeah, in 2012.
If the shoe fits.
I mean,
That was
Wait, that was
9
in
years ago.
2012?
Yeah.
9
I would
years
say
ago.
that he's quite the visionary.
He sure was.
Well, 'cause
Joined now by
was Joe Biden gonna because he was vice president?
Yeah.
So was he part of the doing something in the league or something back then?
yeah.
No, hold on here.
Adam Schefter. And Adam, at halftime of the Monday night game, you said, and I agreed, that as these additional emails came out from the New York Times, that it felt that this was not something that...
Yeah. Kiss everybody's ass. How about one of you two saying, "Hey guys, you know what? This is a complete railroad job, and this guy's a good guy, and this is not cool to say in any capacity."
They don't want to lose their jobs.
But our society has changed tremendously. This is the NFL. Men talk like men. And maybe Gruden should have to do some awareness and yippee. But Adam Schefter doesn't want to lose his job.
No.
Right.
And this Alex Van Pelt, or whatever this guy's name is, he didn't want to lose his job.
You cannot give an honest commentary on this without that risk.
Right.
And
John
so,
Gruden would
it's-
survive it. This was an inevitability. Can you walk us through how this played out within the Raider organization on Monday?
Al Davis would have never succumbed to this.
No, he would have fought
Well, I
it.
think we have to go back to Friday, Scott, because
By the way, they're 3-2 right now too, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good.
that was when the initial email about the NFLPA executive director DeMaurice Smith came out.
Okay.
And I think at that point in time, the NFL sent a group of emails to the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, that obviously contained the contents that the New York Times publicized, 7 years worth of emails dating back from...
Man, it's just like, is it just like...
Yeah.
Everybody's after everybody at all times?
Just mining for bad
2010 to 2018. When I got the call on Monday at about 5:45 Eastern, before we started Monday Night Countdown, I could tell that there had been a notice shift. It seemed like the NFL was getting very impatient with Mark Davis for not taking action. The fact that he was allowed to coach on Sunday, that no action was taken, that Mark Davis stood idly by. We said on Monday night.
No,
Gruden was coaching on Sunday?
Yeah.
Because they were all weekend long, they were saying that he was going to sit out or something.
No,
hold
he
on.
coached.
But they're also using that against the owner.
Right.
God forbid that one of the possibilities is not as the owner of the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders is to support your guy. That
Right.
doesn't seem to be an option.
No.
That seems to have cooked his goose even more. How is that? I mean, if you own something and you say, I'm going to support my guy, that's unacceptable.
Even if you decide to fire him, you don't have to shoot your whole team in the foot by firing him the day before the game.
Right.
You have zero chance of winning.
Countdown. It was in Mark Davis's court. And Mark Davis showed up to the facility, and he met with John Gruden, and John Gruden announced his resignation. And maybe it was that way, Scott. But if John Gruden resigned, you're telling me that he was willing to walk away from $60 million?
Yep.
6 years and $60+ million left in his contract? I think ultimately there was no other choice and no other way out but for...
No other choice, another way out. Well,
here's what happened, Bubba. He's got, first of all, Gruden's been saving money. He's been making a lot of money for now 20 years.
Yeah, he made like $5 or $6 million a year when he was with Monday Night Football.
Right. Yeah. So he's arguably, generated $100 million in the last.
He could potentially be worth $60-70 million right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. So as far as financials are concerned, he does not have to work. And I'm sure when this all kept snowballing and piling up, and he saw the tsunamis, he finally said, you know what? F this, F you, F the NFL. I'm better than this. Suck it. And walked out. I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure he got really irritated after about 4 days straight of this, because I know the guy. And when Davis is sitting down, he was at my wedding. And when Davis sat down with him and started trying to undress him, when he knows deep inside that Davis is probably just as, if not more, racially tinged than Gruden ever was. And if you look at his dad, who was probably way more openly racially tinged than Gruden ever was, then Gruden probably said, you know what, this hypocrite is going to dress me down like this. F you, F this, F all of it. You guys can all suck it.
I got $60-70 million in the bank.
Yeah.
I love Tampa, Florida. And, Blitz, he could open up, now this could actually make Gruden a bigger star if he gets off the grid and, so to speak, and does a YouTube channel or a Facebook, or a Barstool. I mean, look at Dion and how well they're doing with Barstool. You don't think Barstool Sports would hire John Gruden for $10 million a year in a minute? Because Barstool Sports doesn't care. Anna, you got to admit, Barstool Sports is one of the very few that have the balls to be different.
Maybe I don't know. Especially with the it's not even racist. Like, he doesn't even say anything like about him being black. He just makes fun of his lips, but he doesn't say it. Did he say the N-word? I'm trying to look through stuff right now, and I don't see anything.
He didn't.
Do you think there's a chance that maybe Gruden was either told or is thinking, well, they have these emails. I know I have worse ones out there. I'm afraid they might find them.
Yeah,
but
they
already went through 600. They said 650,000 emails for the Washington football team. So
but I'm saying his email he's got other stuff out there. Is what I'm saying.
Two sides to end this
How are they allowed to
relationship.
go through private emails? Was it?
They're not private. They're
He sent it
football
to the league.
Okay.
However they want to categorize it. Resignation, fired, parted ways, out. John Gruden's out as the head coach, and he essentially was let go during Monday Night Football, ironically enough. And probably that is the end to what at one point was a storied NFL career.
Was one of the biggest stars in the league.
Yep.
When it comes to the overall, package of what you do. A lot of coaches are not personable enough. Bill Belichick couldn't do Monday Night Football.
Nope. I don't think Bruce Arians could.
Well, no, I'm just saying, there's a handful of guys, maybe 4 or 5 of them in the entire league that have the persona and the personality and the it factor to be the lead guy. There might not be more than 2 or 3.
There's not.
There might just be, he may just be I'm just right now in my head trying to think of coaches that could potentially be the lead for NFL, ESPN's Monday Night Football, and just off the top of my head, there's nobody in the Central Division. There's nobody. I don't think there's any other coach that could be the lead analyst on NFL, ESPN's Monday Night Football.
No,
I think it'd be really hard to find. And just another thing that proves that is Peyton Manning is a very charismatic, entertaining guy, and the Peyton Eli Manning Monday Night Football sort of sideshow
is awesome.
Is already off.
No, it's coming back.
Coming back?
Yeah, they only did a 10-episode deal, so they take off a little.
Okay, but hold on. Peyton Manning is a guy, Tony Romo. There are some former players that are pretty good, obviously Troy Aikman, but none of those guys were coaches. None of those guys were coaches. It's a different perspective.
Yes.
It's like the John Madden effect. John Madden was never a player per se. He was a coach, and so it gave you a different feel on Monday Night Football. Mm-hmm. Now, Peyton Manning and Tony Romo and Aikman and stuff like that are good, but John Gruden was a coach and gave you a different feel. He might be the only person to have won a Super Bowl, was the lead guy on Monday Night Football, then go back to the league.
Oh, that's never happened.
No.
Right.
Does his son work for the team as well as a strength coach?
Yeah.
What's his name? Deuce?
Yeah. There's a second son.
Deuce Gruden.
Yeah, he's from around here.
Jacked, too.
He's on
You talk about a guy.
steroids.
They call him Deuce the Juice.
Oh, my God.
He
He's
is
so
Deuce
strong.
on
the
all
Juice.
the steroids.
Deuce the Juice Gruden. That's the
Look at
guy I
these
want.
biceps.
That's the guy I want doing my strength conditioning. Stand by. Do you notice, though, man? Here's what's not an option. But here's what's not an option. You know what's not an option?
What?
What's not an option is giving this guy a second chance, having this guy say he's sorry, making this guy go through a whole bunch of courses and become, aware of the potential problem.
Look at that arm.
Look at it. That's his son. Holy Christ. He's a powerlifter, I think. But
you think?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you notice how that's not a possibility?
No.
That's not a possibility.
You kill dogs. It's okay.
Even Kyle Larson, who I don't necessarily agree did that big of a deal, but NASCAR threw him on his ass. But Blitz, they gave him a course he had to go through, a diversification course. Mm-hmm. Lost a few clients, got thrown out. But then a year later, they let him back in. I think they're going to make such an example out of John Gruden that he'll never ever conventionally be part of the NFL again.
He's going to be to racism like Pete Rose was to gambling.
Yes.
Well, they're saying that it wasn't the racism now that really got him fired. It was the homophobic talk. That's what got him.
And again, great. I mean, you should never speak bad about a homosexual, but it's just it's wow.
That's what got him canned.
And here's the thing. I'm going to make a statement. Homosexual people are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. They're far more tolerant than most. They've dealt with a bunch of crap all of their lives.
I'm not going to make any generalizations about homosexual people. I'm going to judge each homosexual and each non-homosexual individually as a human.
I'm going to paint with a very broad brush and say that all homosexual people that I know are pretty damn cool and aren't nearly high-strung as the average human being. And I think homosexual people would be like, we don't want to kill this guy's career. He's sorry, and we forgive him. Has anybody asked the homosexual community if they'll accept his apology?
Well, who's the spokesperson for that?
I don't know. Let's find one. We need
a Scout.
It's not monolithic.
We need. I mean, okay, the NAACP has a head, right?
Right.
Every organization, I think, needs
GLAAD. It would be GLAAD or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to find the head of GLAAD and say, hey, will you forgive Coach Gruden if he said some homosexual slurs? This is really bad.
If he donates to your cause.
Donates to your
that's
cause.
What they're wanting.
And so
and does some diversification classes.
The reason that Gruden was a little frustrated with the guy that got drafted, Sam, what was his name?
Whatever, Sam McGillicuddy.
Okay. Was because
from the University of Missouri.
Right. Yeah. He's like, he's not the first gay athlete. He talked about a couple players that the Bucks had in the late 90s and the early 2000s that were gay. Everybody knew they were gay. They had special arrangements. Michael Sam. They had special arrangements for the players, and no one cared. He's like, no one cared. I don't know why it's got to be like Mr. Popularity because he's gay. And so he was frustrated that.
And he said that
the gay moniker made someone better instead of just the same.
And he said that as real life experience coach, having coached a couple homosexual guys and knowing that it's not that big a deal. And so like he's kind of an expert. In that arena.
He absolutely is.
He not?
Yes. Well, he came out when Carl Nassib came out. He said, "What makes a man different and what makes him great?" And he was fully supportive of, his player, Carl,
the man that led the race.
And so, why didn't Carl step up? Why doesn't Carl
was
Nassib
this before
step up?
The emails were released?
I know, but why doesn't he step up as a gay player?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
There's currently on the Raiders is a guy named Carl Nassib, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he is an openly gay guy,
active player, right? And is he actually good?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. And so why?
And no one cares.
Why doesn't?
Right.
And I'm sure that Coach Gruden hadn't called him any slurs and hasn't treated him any differently than the players. Has been respectful to his sexuality.
Ooh, he's hot.
Has not made a big deal about it at all.
No, he was supportive in June.
And very supportive. The guy made the team. And so why doesn't this guy come out and say, "Hey, I'm a gay player for Coach Gruden, and there's not a problem here. He's very fair. He I made the team. He treats me the same."
Maybe he will. I don't know.
You need to do that immediately before you make your coach resign.
Vegas, a great football career ending in this way.
And he'll never get another chance. Michael Vick can kill and electrocute dogs.
Right. And how many running backs have beat their girlfriends or other players have beat the hell out of their girlfriends?
Ray Rice.
Mayfield.
He still plays, right?
No, Ray Rice.
Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather. A lot of domestic violence.
Floyd Mayweather was a boxer, buddy.
I understand that, but I'm talking about athletes that have hit girls.
I thought you were talking about running. I thought you said running backs.
I started with running backs, and I was moving on to other
Floyd
sports.
Mayweather would be he'd be a little scat back. He's teeny tiny.
Could you imagine taking a punch from the best boxer in the world? Like Jesus.
Yeah, but he's just a little guy. He really
still.
is.
Yeah,
if he hits a woman,
I'd rather be hit by him than Tyson.
John Gruden like his son, and this was not something he wanted to do, but clearly there were people affiliated with the National Football League and in the National Football League.
Clearly, this is a National Football League thing and not a Raiders thing.
Yep.
Offices who wanted action taken, and they felt it should have been taken long before Monday night.
Week 1, Monday Night Football, the Raiders beat the Ravens in overtime. Week 5, the Ravens are in overtime playing a game, and Gruden is out as the Raiders coach. It was a remarkable and
the league is a joke. You know what? Life is a joke.
Was Ray Rice removed as soon as that all came out?
He was suspended for a year.
But he did play again.
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Ray Lewis was in a limousine when somebody got killed in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And was an accessory to murder.
Yep, he locked.
And he didn't get nothing.
Yeah, but that one offensive lineman that teased the other offensive lineman in Miami never played football again for teasing someone.
For what?
He's back on the Raiders.
No, Richie Incognito. He's playing.
He's on the Raiders.
He's back, baby.
He's on the Raiders.
I heard. I will tell you this. I will tell you, Richie. Now, I don't know if this is published or if this is just urban lore, but I heard from a former player that knew Richie Incognito that he was such a wild man. He is this. He plays for the Raiders, oddly enough.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's his offensive lineman.
Oh, no.
He's good.
He's his offensive lineman, and he white guy, and he's pretty much just says it like it is. He says a lot of bad words, and he doesn't care. And one time he was at a pool hall, and there was another. The guy that ended up complaining on him. This African American big offensive lineman. And there were, as an offensive lineman, Dan, you've seen it. They haze the younger guys.
Especially if they're pussies.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, if you are soft or whatever, man, you're going to get hazed.
Yep.
And even more specifically, your offensive lineman guys are going to subsect and haze you.
How do
Yes,
they
they
haze
are.
you, like a frat?
Just like, they'll make just
Carry
whatever.
the pads, do the different stuff.
Just different stuff.
Not like drinking and stuff.
Well, no. But for a rookie in an NFL team, the rookies carry the veterans' helmets.
Yep.
Oh, well,
They're the
that's-
last ones off the field. They're
They
the
have to
first
buy
ones
dinner.
on the field. They have to buy dinner during training camp for the other position guys. There's a lot of things they have to do.
Yeah.
And they all did it when they were rookies.
Right. Now, so hold on. Rumor has it that they were at this pool hall and they were shooting pool. And this offensive lineman who has a problem with Richie Incognito got mad at Richie because Richie was calling him a pussy and he can't shoot pool and all kinds of different things. And the guy was getting all mad and was going to beat Richie up. And Richie said, "You're such a pussy." And that he broke a pool cue and handed it to the guy and says, "This is the only thing that's going to make this fight fair is if I give you this pool cue because I'm going to kill you." So think about this, Blitz. You're getting ready to fight a guy, and he breaks off a pool cue and hands it to you and says, "The only way you're even going to have a half a chance," I'd automatically that's some good game, ain't it?
Sure is.
Richie Incognito took a pool cue, broke it in half, gave it to the guy, and said, "This is your only chance against me because I'm going to kill you."
It's awesome.
He got thrown off the Miami Dolphins the next day.
Oh, I think
that was the final blow.
Yeah, it was against Mike Pouncey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the final blow. They shipped him out.
Events and
then he
clearly
didn't
from the
play it for
NFL's
what,
point
3
of-
years?
No, I think he played. I think he went to the Colts, and then I think he went to the Raiders.
The Bucks
Yeah.
looked at him, and he got shamed in the media by the Bucks, and they stopped looking at him
It
after
didn't
like
happen
24
as
hours.
quickly as
Yeah, well,
they might have
shamed in the media, something I'm familiar with.
wanted, but it has on Monday night.
Well, I will say this also, Scott. During the pregame show, Monday Night Countdown, Booker
Where is Derek Brooks? Where is Warren Sapp? Where is Rondé Barber? You guys don't work for the league.
What about Raheem that he gave a big chance to? What about Mike Tomlinson
What about- what
that's
about-
now a head coach
what
and all the
about-
other coaches that
What
he
about Lovie
worked with?
Smith?
Right, all those guys.
What about Tony Dungy that worked with him and knows him?
McFarlane made a great point. The NFL.
I'm Tony Dungy. I don't really ever say nothing and everything.
No.
What was his
keep everybody
reputation in
Who,
the
Tony
league?
Dungy?
No, John Gruden. That he was like a good guy.
Oh,
or-
he was a stud.
Yeah.
no, not that
he
he
was a
not
man's
not
man.
his like record if he won and stuff, but as a person, what was
Hold
his
on,
reputation?
Dan, first of all, he went to Dan's wedding, had a personal friends, and
Oh,
Dan
cool.
worked as a doctor for Coach Gruden, so he can. Dan has all the experience on this. Dan, take it away. How is Chucky as a guy?
I think that the players looked at him as a huge football resource because he's so smart and understands the game so well and has been so successful. And they were afraid of his temper because they knew he had a temper and was not afraid to scream and yell. But they never. There was trust because he never screwed over anybody. He was very honest. He never hit a card. He was a very upfront guy. You knew what his feelings were because he wore his emotions on his sleeve.
Okay.
You always knew where you stood with him.
Absolutely. You knew if he liked you or if he didn't like you. You knew the minute he made that decision, you were informed of that decision.
I was scared when I met him at Dan's wedding because I'd written some songs and stuff. And so I get introduced to him, and he goes, "Yeah, I heard your show a few times, you little rascal."
Little rascal.
And I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. I hear it." That's all he said. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." Yeah.
And then you beeline to the cake.
He made me crumble once. Dad.
He folded you?
Well, I was just so scared because Dad had to go out of the country, and there was a game that I ended up being like the head doctor for.
Right.
And so we're in the plane, and we're flying to New Orleans, and I'm in the back row of first class, and all of a sudden I hear Gruden, "Diaco, come up here," and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Coach?"
Hey,
He
I just
goes-
want to let you know if any guys twist knees, it's on you, buddy.
He goes, "Where's your old man?" I'm like, well, he's out of the country. It was a last minute thing. He couldn't get out of it. I'm here, Coach." He goes, "You got this?" I'm like, "Yeah, Coach, I got this." He goes, "You better." I'm like, "Okay."
That's it.
That's all it
And he
was.
sent you back?
Sent me back.
Which basically
It was a quiet
Hey,
game.
we're probably the only show in America right now that's supporting Coach Gruden. For real. Like, for real.
But he gave me the chance. He said, "You're in charge. You got it. Take
plastered
control."
racism in all of its end zones, on helmets, all of those things. Black Lives Matter. There have been so many efforts.
And listen, I have no problem with the NFL continuing that, doing that stuff and marketing that. But, you got a guy that said some, not cool stuff 10 plus years ago as a private citizen. He was not working for the NFL. He was working for a network. He was not working for the NFL at all. He was not representing the Raiders. He made a mistake. He made a mistake. Can white guys not make mistakes anymore?
It seems like the white man has a higher threshold to maintain and a higher standard to maintain than anybody else is being held to right now.
That's not fair. I mean, can white guys make a mistake, be sorry, and not have your entire world canceled?
Nope.
Because it seems like that's all that society wants. If you're a white guy and you mess up, there's only one option, and that is you're canceled. So I'm telling you right now, Coach Gruden arguably would be a huge asset to any network that would put him on if he would want to do that. He could pack sand and say, I got 60, 70 million in the bank. Everybody can S my D. You'll never hear from me again. Okay, that's great. Or he could coach immediately in the league, but he will be completely blackballed. You watch.
And so Donkey's like, he's a douche, always a douche. I just want everyone that's throwing a rock right now to think about every word you've ever frickin' said for the last 30 years and to make sure that would stand up in front of a jury of African-American gay people as perfectly tolerant to the world.
Right.
And
Everything
I challenge everyone that's listening to right now that any joke you've ever made didn't have a racial, homophobic, or misogynistic or some sort of cancel culture valid tinge to it that you would be canceled.
Your entire life.
Your entire life. And if you say otherwise, F you, because you're full of you-know-what.
It's made to try to advance that cause and to have John Gruden come out and use racist terms, racist tropes along the way was offensive to so many people.
And here's the deal.
He needs to come out as gay right now.
I guarantee you. That Adam Schefter and the other guy, they as white men have said something inappropriate. Something
somewhere
inappropriate somewhere to somebody about African American or a gay person.
Yep.
It's our natural
30 years ago
society to make fun of people.
Yes.
That's what we do. We make fun of people. We make fun of ourselves. We make fun of others. We make fun of people with disabilities. That's what we do. It's funny.
Tell him, Bubba.
And it was a setback. And it was something that the league did not want to tolerate. And
what a bunch of hypocritical a-holes.
So take, for instance, Eddie Murphy now, who is still he's still king of the world. His early routines in Raw and Delirious spent hours teasing gay people, teasing Asian people, and demeaning women. That was his routine 30 years ago. But, he's still on top of the world. God forbid you don't go after that guy.
They're not going playing Eddie Murphy tapes from 30 years ago, getting him canceled.
No. And everything he said in Delirious and Raw would be cancelable today.
Really stood opposite of some of the values that the league has espoused here in recent times. So, John Gruden is now out.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.
Thanks, Jackson.